Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we are speaking in present tense, but in a little while we are going to zoom back into the past. And when I say past, I mean when the boys were 9 months old past. So with that being said, one of my most asked questions since the boys have been were 9 months old was and is, how did you get your boys to sleep through the night? How did you sleep train twins? Did you train your twins? All of those things. Also, how is your swaddle working? And full disclosure, I did not have the weighted swaddle, the weighted sleep sack. I did not have that when I sleep trained the boys. I did make it a point to state that I did sleep train the boys back way when, and I just never got around to editing this video. It's super long. I had to break it up into 2 parts, so this is part 1, and this is more so of like my sleep training diary. So the boys are 9 months old. This video is, well, the footage is about almost 2 years, like a year and a half old already, but I thought it was important to go ahead and post it just because I still get a lot of questions on sleep training. And speaking of which, little side note, I know that sleep training is definitely a preference thing. There are people who are all for sleep training and there are people who are totally against sleep training, and I'm fully aware of that. But you know, you do what you do with your kids because that's what you do, and I'm gonna do what I do with my kids because they're my kids. So what I do with my kids shouldn't really affect you and your kids. If this is something that you disagree with, don't watch the video. I don't even know why you would even click on it, but I just wanted to just put that out there because sleep training is a lot. I am all for sleep training, obviously. I use the Ferber method. I would say that it's modified because there are a couple of things that I tweak out to work better for me, and you do the same. That's the luxury of sleep training. Like, you don't have to do it. It's not like you have to do it this way and this is how it's going to be done. Like, you can do it however way it's going to work for you and your child or children. In my cases, I did what worked for me and my twins, and this was a first for me. I never had to sleep train twins, obviously. Never had twins before. It's definitely difficult. I am not going to sugarcoat anything. It is hard as hell. It took about 17 days to fully sleep train both boys. This is a very long process, and I also feel like with my situation, not situation, but with us, the boys were in our room, their cribs were in here, so we room shared with the boys, so that made it even more difficult. And so yeah, I wanted to make sure I just went ahead, got this video up for you so that it is helpful to those who are asking me the questions on Instagram. Not that I don't answer them, but I always reference like, yeah, I have a video on that, but I never posted the video. So it's like, oh, I can't find your sleep training video. Oh yeah, I didn't post it, but I have it. So yeah, with further ado, if you want to see how I was able to sleep train the boys, and I say I because Babe was here for moral support. He didn't really he didn't really help. It was much appreciated, but yeah, if you want to know what it's like to sleep train twins, you want to know what you're up against, what's going to happen, I will say this, the sooner you do this, the better. I don't know about, you know, 1, 2, 3 months old, but if you can start sleep training your kid at 6 months, do it. If you can do it sooner than that, do it. I personally wasn't comfortable. I wouldn't have been comfortable doing it prior to 6 months. That's why I say 6 months. But there are people who sleep train their kids like as soon as they get home from the hospital. You know, they do it at 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, you know, whatever you feel is best for you, then you do it. But I will say, the sooner you do this, the better, because once you sleep train them and get through it and they're sleeping through the night, you're gonna be like, why didn't I do this sooner? Why did I do this sooner? And also know that sleep training is not for the weak. Neither is quitting breastfeeding cold turkey. Those things are not for the weak. If you cannot handle your baby crying without having to run and get them, which I know is our instincts as a mom, but if you're not at the point where it's like enough is enough, then also this might not work for you, because you cannot pick up your baby crying. You cannot give in to the baby, because then this doesn't work and you're gonna be sleep training for months and wondering, what the hell am I doing wrong? So there's nothing wrong with not being at your wit's end, like I need to get sleep. If you can hold out and you want to hold out, then by all means, again, do what's best for you. But just know, if you're just searching through videos and you happen to stumble upon this one, it's not easy and the crying is painful to your heart, but not painful enough to not continue to go through it on my end. So anyway, enough blabbing. This is part 1 of my sleep training twins while room sharing diaries. It's gonna be called something like that. And if you have any questions, I am more than happy to assist currently, so go ahead and leave them down below, and be on the lookout for part 2. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Hello. All right, so today is day 1 of sleep training. So I nursed Julian. I didn't nurse him to sleep. I nursed him up until I realized that he was just like not sucking to get milk, but just like relaxed, or you know, to put himself to sleep. And then I put him in his crib. Giovanni, I gave him his bottle in his crib and his bubble. And my boys sleep with a blanket. They've been sleeping with a blanket since they were born. Don't do what I do. Do what you do. I know you're not supposed to put blankets, but that's just how all of my kids honestly have always slept, and they tend to not be able to sleep without a blanket. So I gave them their blankets. Giovanni so far is not crying, but they are really tired. They had a really long day. Julian, on the other hand, is screaming bloody murder. I don't know where the monitor is so that I can show you guys, but I put them down at, well, I walked out of the room at 8:11. So it's currently 8:13 and I'm giving it 5 minutes. So if he's still crying in 5 minutes, I'll go in there. I won't pick him up. I'll, you know, pat him, you know, tell him it's okay, mommy's here. I'll rub his back for a couple of seconds, and I will leave out of the room again and then start the process all over. I do tend to do the cry it out method with my kids, the one who I needed to sleep train, but like I said, do what's best for you. This is just the method that I know that has worked in the past. Don't know if it's gonna work right now, because this is also the earliest I've sleep trained kids, let alone twins. So I don't know how it's going to be with the other twin. Like, I don't know if Giovanni is just gonna join in, or if he's just gonna go to sleep, or vice versa. When Giovanni wakes up and starts crying, is Julian gonna get up? Because that's usually what happens. They somehow manage to wake up at the same times during the night. So we shall see. So I will check back in once I find the monitor. All right, so it's currently 8:20. I just came out the room. So Giovanni is completely knocked out. But again, we had a long day. Julian is still screaming his head off. So now I will wait another 5 minutes before I go back in there. You can hear. There's Giovanni. No, Giovanni is knocked out.
You better go in there and handle that.
And there goes Julian.
The fuck?
I feel like he's trying to wake him up. Like, hey brother, like help me.
Why are you sleeping?
But his cries are getting fainter, so that's good. And he just sat down.
What is just one night sleeping?
God willing. This is gonna be such a long night. This is gonna be such a long night. So I just went in there for the second 5-minute time and he is still screaming. Giovanni is still sleeping. So now I have to wait 7 minutes before I go back in there. And yeah, he's just not, he is not about this life. And I'm starting to feel bad because they just turned 9 months. You know, it's just harder when there's 2 babies at once, and I need sleep too, you know? And again, it's 2 babies, so it's not just, okay, well, if one baby wakes up, like if it was just Julian, I may have waited until he was a year old. But because there's 2 of them, they kind of are in sync the majority of the time. The fact that Giovanni is sleeping right now is shocking. And he just keeps looking at him too. So there he is. That's just Julian. Giovanni is still right here sleeping. Anyway, I am going to check back in after the 7 minutes and see where we are. After 7 minutes, then I'll wait 10 minutes and then start the process all over again. So yeah, no one said this process was easy. It's definitely hard. And I thought that I was gonna be real stern because, you know, Julian is he's just a lot. He's definitely a lot. He's that baby. He's like that second baby that you have that makes you say, yeah, I'm not having any more kids. That's Julian. But he's still my baby. And it's definitely turning out to be a lot tougher than I thought it was going to be. But this has to be done, so yeah, I'll check back in. Okay, so my 7 minutes is up and I was just about to go in there, but he stopped crying. So he's not crying. He looks like he's getting even more sleepy. So I'm not going to go in there since he's not crying. He's definitely super sleepy. He actually looks like he's sleeping sitting up. Look at him. Oh my goodness, my baby. Oh, look, he's like sleeping sitting up. Oh my goodness. It's actually making me a little bit emotional. He's definitely falling asleep sitting up. Because I just feel like he just wants me. He just wants me to come and get him. So he's gonna wait. He's waiting for me. But he can't hang anymore. Oh my God, he's going to sleep. He's sleeping. That is definitely a first. He just turned his head. He's sleeping. He's sleeping. He fell asleep sitting up and then falling forward. 8:45 or 8:46 now, and Giovanni's moving. Oh shit. Okay, so 8:45, 8:46, and they're both sleeping. He fell asleep sitting up, and I tilted him. All I had to do was just tilt him over to the side. His face wasn't constricted with the blanket or anything. He had his face just tilted to the side, laying on the blanket, holding on to the blanket as well. So step one complete. The first step is always the hardest, clearly. So let's see how well they sleep, what time. They normally, Giovanni normally wakes up by 11 for a bottle, and Julian sometimes will wake up beforehand, sometimes he wakes up afterwards. Not giving him the bottle, not giving anyone, not feeding anyone again. So yeah, let's see how this goes. It's 9:30 and Giovanni just woke up. So I'm gonna go give him his bowl and just lay him down and pat him and see how this goes. I consoled him a little bit. I did lay him down, but he got back up. And Giovanni is more of the cuddly baby, so he wants to cuddle. He keeps rubbing his face with the blanket. But he's not really crying. He's just like whiny. So I'll start 5 minutes from whenever he starts crying and then go back in there. But I'm not going to go in there if he's not crying. He is full-blown crying now. He has a couple of more minutes before I go back in there. I think it would have been easier if he would have did this while Julian was doing this. But at least Julian's staying sleeping. I had to go in there 2 for 5 minutes, again for 7. When I just went in there for his 7 minutes, I laid him back down, Giovanni we're talking about, and he didn't move after I laid him back down. So he seems to be on his way back to sleep. So I set my timer for 10 minutes, but I don't think I'm gonna have to go in there at 10 minutes. This is what he's doing. So he's still moving, so he's not completely asleep, but I think he gave up on crying. Yeah, so we'll see if I have to go in there in 10 minutes or not. Okay, so I have Julian here. He is nursing. See his head right there? Yep, that's Julian. But let's talk about sleep training night 1. So Julian woke up. I have my notes here on my phone. I was very detailed. It was a very long night, but Julian woke up around 11:45. I went in, came out, he sat up, he started crying for 30 seconds, then he stopped. And then he started crying again for another 30 seconds. And then he laid down and went back to sleep. So that was that. And then at 11:58, he whined for about 30 seconds. Then he laid back down for 15 seconds and sat up and then whined for 30 more seconds. And then started crying at 12:01. And then at so from 12:01 to 12:04, he was crying. Then he stopped at like 12:06. Then started whining at 12:10. Then he laid back down. This is no crying at all. And then at 12:19, he started to cry again. I went in at 12:25 for about a minute. I came out and he stayed laying down, no crying. Giovanni woke up at 1:48. I went in at 1:50. I was set to go back in at 1:55, but he wasn't crying, so I did not go back into the room. He also wasn't sleeping, so it wasn't like he just laid back down and went to sleep. No, so he was up that entire time, but he was not crying, and he was sitting up. And then he also had his blanket rubbing his face. It was the cutest thing. I finally went back in at 2:25 because from when he woke up until 2:25, no, he was not crying, but he also didn't lay back down. So at 2:25, I went in to lay him down. He whined for about 2 minutes. He sat back up, then he laid back down at 2:50, and he finally went back to sleep at like 2:52. His eyes were closed. And then at 2:50, when Giovanni went back to sleep, that was the last time that he woke up. He stayed sleeping until I'll get there in a second. So then Julian woke up at 4:30. He whined for 10 seconds. He crawled around his crib. He sat up and stared at our bed. Poor thing. And then he laid back down. He got back up after 5 minutes. Then he finally laid back down by himself at 4:43. I did not go into the room at all that time, and he finally fell back asleep. So once Giovanni fell asleep by like 2:55, he did not wake up until I woke them up at about 9:15. These boys normally get up between 6 and 7. Giovanni will get up between 6 and 7:30. Julian, if he's not woken up, will get up between 7 and 8 on like most days, and he'll sleep until like 8:30 on, you know, really good days. So that was Giovanni. Julian, when he went back to sleep, again, he did not wake back up until I woke them up at 9:15. And I woke them up because I just felt like I didn't want them to sleep in until 9:30. I figured, you know, they needed the extra sleep because they were up during the night. But I feel like on most nights, they're up longer than what they did last night. So all in all, didn't get much sleep, but the boys somewhat got some sleep. They definitely made up for it. I was pretty much up at 7. I think I'm pretty much used to getting up at 7. I would say all in all, it was definitely a good night. Actually, no, what am I talking about? It was a fabulous night. The boys did not eat at all, not once. They didn't sleep through the night, no, but they didn't eat, which leads me to believe that they've been playing us the entire time from like 6 months and up. They just been playing us because they showed us that they don't need to eat during the night. Like all the ruckus all the commotion that they caused on a regular night was just BS. Yeah, during this process, until they're actually sleeping through the night, we are not going to be sleeping in the room because they knowingly look for us in our bed. So I did this with Aaliyah as well. So that was night 1. We will see how day 2 goes. Okay, so we are on day 2, night 2 for sleep training with the boys. I just finished giving them a bath, massaging them. They were just listening to their music. So they're all ready for bed. I'm going to nurse Julian. Daddy's getting his Giovanni's bottle ready, and we're going to start this process all over again. I've been putting them down by 8, so we're just a little bit behind schedule tonight, which is fine. Okay, so it is currently 8:54. I just got out of the room. I just finished nursing Julian. I didn't nurse him to sleep. I laid him down as soon as he started doing flips on my boob. And he whined. I tried to give him like the extra bobo, but he didn't want it. I gave him his blanket, and he is now currently laying down with his blanket, not crying. So that's really good. Giovanni got his bottle. He actually still has his bottle in his hand. He also has his blanket and his extra blankie that he is currently rubbing on his face. I think that Julian just turned over and is going to sleep. So far, so good. Let me show you the boys. So there they are. Let me just put this flat. So that's Giovanni still drinking his bottle. And I didn't end up putting the other monitor in there because there's just nowhere for me to be able to see him. Like how it's high up on this side. But he is currently laying down. And all you hear is the music playing. Let me just put this louder so you can hear. No one is currently crying. They just have their sound machine going and also the music. So far, so good. All right, so Giovanni is done with his bottle. He's currently up, but not really. He's like laying down, laying over. I'm surprised he didn't grab his bobo. And yeah, he's currently semi-crying. He's like whining and then crying and then whining and then being quiet. So he is currently crying. So I am going to wait. It's 8:59. I'm gonna wait until 9:03 to go in there. I'm gonna just give him his bobo, you know, and console him because I think that's all he needs. I don't think he sees that his bobo is right behind him. Okay, so Giovanni, he's laying down all the way now. It's still 9 o'clock. No, it just turned 9:01. But he is laying all the way down. Julian is over there turning. Down. So also good. It's currently 9:05. Can you guys see? And I think they are asleep. That's so crazy if they're sleeping. We are gonna go in and check on them because I cannot believe that they are sleeping already. This is so crazy. Did you guys see? They are sleeping. I put them to, I left the room 8:54, 9:05, they were asleep. That is amazing. That is so good. I'm so proud of them. So proud of them. Ah, man, you guys don't even know. Hopefully tonight I'll be able to get a little bit more sleep. I'm gonna go and clean up since, I mean, it is kind of late because this is late to me. This is like, I'm crashing and I can't keep my eyes open on regular. As a matter of fact, I didn't get any sleep last night. I don't even know how I still have so much energy, but tomorrow's Mother's Day and I don't want to wake up to a mess. All right. So.
Happy Mother's Day.
Thank you. It's 8:01 and Giovanni is awake. So real quick, last night, Julian woke up at 12:41. Then I went in at 12:44, laid him down, and he stayed down and went back to sleep. And then Giovanni woke up at 1:42. I went in at 1:45. I stayed in there for like a minute because he was just taking a little bit longer. He was just getting louder. He likes to cuddle. I think I already said that. So he was trying to pull me in the crib with him. So I went out at like 1:46. I came out and then I set an alarm for 5 minutes because he was crying. I would say after the 5 minutes, he actually laid back down on his own and he went back to sleep. I didn't have to go in there because at 5 minutes, he just stopped crying. And that was it. They slept the rest of the night. So
Sleeps like
nothing
that.
went. Oh, I got a good stretch until babe woke me up this morning. Good morning. Good morning, my love. Are you stuck over there? Good morning. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Come here. Come here, puppies. Did you have a good night, Poppy? Yeah, you had a good night.
Jojo! Oh, what's up, boy?
We had a good
Hey.
sleep.
What's up, boy? You a big boy now. You really big boy. Hey, Jojo.
Mommy, I gotta be.
Gonna wake Julian up just because. Also, happy Mother's Day. Jojo. Jojo. Good morning. Aw. Did you miss mommy? You missed your mama? Excuse the morning puffy face. Puffy faces, I should say. Good morning, my pretty boy. He definitely would stay asleep until like 9. Again, if I would have let him. Julian is definitely the one who likes his sleep like in the morning time. I feel like that's when he used to sleep the best. And if you don't wake him, he will just stay sleeping. He loves his morning sleep. Good morning, my love. See you guys tonight for night number 3. Say bye, Juju. Say bye-bye. Sleep training, day 3, night 3. Well, first of all, it is currently 8:43. I left out of the room at 8:39. I nursed Julian, then put him down. Giovanni already had his bottle in his crib already. I put Julian down. He whined in my arms, but once I put him down, he just reached for his blanket and put that over him, and he appears to be sleeping. Giovanni also now appears to be sleeping, and no one cried. This is huge. I guess that's just me. Oh, this is gonna be me until this becomes a thing. But they both appear to be sleeping. Okay, wait, no. Giovanni's, he's dozing, but he is not crying. He surprisingly has been the one to be crying, but he's not crying right now, and he's definitely dozing. I can see his eyes blinking, but he's going out. So there are the boys. You can see Giovanni's bottle right here. I do go in there and take his bottle away. And then Julian is over here. He is pretty much sleeping. Giovanni is grabbing for his blankets. I'm so proud of them, and I'm so happy that they can finally just put themselves to sleep. It's amazing. So that is it for now. I will check back in either later tonight, or I will let you guys know how they did in the morning. Okay, so night 3. Julian slept all night. He did not wake up. He did not cry. Nothing. He slept all night for the first time ever. So very happy about that. I could have sworn that Julian was going to be the one to just, you know, fight this all the way, because I thought that he was going to be the one who still wanted to nurse, but he's been taking to this great, and I'm so proud of him. Now Giovanni, I have in my notes, hold on, he definitely had a rough night. Giovanni woke up at 12:55 and he whined. I went in at 1:01 only because he was having a hard time getting comfortable. So you know how the crib is like this? Well, he was laying this way, so his legs kept getting stuck in between the bars of the crib. So that's initially why I went in there. I kind of wish that I hadn't, that I just waited it out a little bit longer, but he was getting frustrated, and you can tell by the way he was whining. It wasn't like crying, and it wasn't like his normal whine. So that's why I went in there. I laid him down, I fixed him, and he started crying right away as I left the room. So he cried for about 30 seconds, then he stopped. He laid back down at 1:08. He sat back up at 1:10. He started crying. So then I set a timer. I set the first timer for 5 minutes. I went into the room at 1:21. I was in there for about a minute. I came out. He was still crying, so I set the timer again for another 5 minutes. And again, he started crying. So when I went in the first time, came out, he started crying again as I left. So when I came out, I set the timer again for another 5 minutes because he was crying. He ended up laying down at 124. And then he started crying again after 10 seconds. So I went back in after the 5 minutes. I rubbed his back. I told him everything was okay. And he still cried. So when I came out, I set the timer for then 7 minutes. So after the 7 minutes, I think it was like 1:36, I went in there for about another minute. I had laid him back down, again, rubbed his back for a couple of seconds, told him that everything was okay, and I laid, like I said, I laid him down, and then I came back out, and this time he stayed laying down. I think by this time he was exhausted, so because he wasn't crying when I came back out after the 7 minutes, I didn't set the timer for 10 minutes. I just waited it out, and then finally at I would say around 1:40, 1:41, he stopped moving, his eyes were shut, and he went back to sleep. And then he woke up at 7:15 this morning. He actually left Julian sleeping just to see what time he got up, and he ended up getting up at 8 on his own. So yeah, I mean, Giovanni is having, like, he's more of the cuddle baby. He likes to cuddle, he likes to feel your warmth, so I think that's maybe why he's having like a little bit more of a rough time. Although Julian was always attached to my boob, he wanted my boob more so than he wanted me. So since he's not getting the boob, I don't think that he cares that he's also not laying next to me, which is why I think he's doing better, if that makes any sense. But still in all, he only got up, you know, that one time for, what was it, an hour, you know, it took him to go back to sleep, which is completely fine with me compared to the amount of times that he was getting up. So, you know, can't win them all, and I'm still super proud of him as well. So yeah, I'll go ahead and check back in with you guys tonight for day/night 4.
And now I'm never gonna slow down, never gonna slow